Hey everybody, this is Mike from Soundster Shop. I'm here again with Kevin Brittingham from Q. We're here to talk about optics. What are your preferred types of optics for, let's say, the Honey Badger platform compared to a fixed or mini-fixed platform?
I get the question all the time as well for the Honey Badger Sugar Weasel and the mini fix. And I think there's no right answer. I go back and forth constantly between dot sights for both guns, dots or the low power variable optics. I switch them out and it depends on what I'm doing. Generally, if I'm shooting still or hunting inside of 100 meters, I always use a dot. Or if I'm carrying it in my truck or having it in the house for home defense, I use a dot. Everything else, I like magnification. One thing I try to always do is if I go with a magnified optic, is pick something that's lightweight. Like this, it's a Mark 6 from Leupold, a 1:6. It's pretty lightweight for what you get. I try to keep them on our guns since they're so compact and lightweight. I try to keep the optics the same, but I like both. I don't think there's a correct answer. Like, what do you use?
I use both as well. Yeah, I mean, like most people, red dots for shorter distances, magnification for longer distances.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the caliber too. Something like 300 blackout, you're not launching lead at 1,600 yards. Well, I mean, okay, I guess maybe 45-degree angle. Just lob it over there.
No, with that said, I've shot steel to 1,000 with a 1:6 optic on a 7-inch 300 blackout.
Well, your eyes are better than mine. I'll say that.
But yeah, generally I go with the Aimpoint, the EOTech, Trigicon, whatever theirs is called. It's pretty good. I have a Delta Point Pro, I think it's called, on my other Honey Badger. I like all of those. I haven't used many of like the SIG or Holosun, whatever that is.
Holosun, yeah.
I like the Swarovski optics. Leupold makes a lot of good stuff. There's lots of companies that make quality product. The EOTech, to me, I don't like how big. It's bigger and heavier, and I don't like that. But the circle with the dot, especially for hunting pigs or something that's moving, it is a lot faster than a dot. But then I like how having a clear field of view and just the dot for certain hunting applications and stuff like that. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, and I use both, and I move them back and forth constantly.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, and I feel the same way. Anything else to add?
No, I would say generally Scalar works, whatever it's called, Night Force. There's a few companies that make really good mounts, and when I use a low power variable, I like using a one-piece mount. Using separate rings, you can torque the body if the Picatinny rail isn't straight, and then it makes it easier moving from gun to gun. I prefer that myself. Otherwise for this, I think this is probably a Reptilia mount, and there's several companies that make good mounts. Just stick with something that's simple. I like the standard bolts too. I don't like the throw levers and stuff that often because they generally, if it's not a good design, you're not going to get it as tight as you need, or if it is, you can't get it loose by the lever, and they generally add weight and complexity. I like simple with that stuff as well, and it's kind of what I do.
Yeah, agreed 100%. What do you think about levels?
I don't use one. I use one when I set my optic up generally, but beyond that, I don't. Maybe once a year I use a level. My guns are generally pretty bare, like you see on here. I'll put a light on this gun if I'm hunting like pigs at night or something, and on here I have the 1913 just because I actually shoot this at distance, and I put this on my tripod.
Sure.
And so it's set up right now for that. Otherwise, I try to stay very minimal.
All right, well, you heard it here. Thanks, Kevin, for coming by again. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.